Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to this live stream energy update for the energies of October 2021. My name is Ona Christie, and we're just going to dig into it here. All right, so October, we're post Equinox. So we just went through this tipping point of the year. And depending on where you are on the planet, you're going to feel the energies being a little bit different. I'm being located in the Northern Hemisphere, so I'm going to really focus more on that. But just understand, if you are in the Southern Hemisphere, you actually may be feeling some of these Northern Hemisphere things, because we're looking at both the global ascension as well as the annual cycle. And a lot of I think the power players globally right now are located in the Northern Hemisphere, so you may feel some of that. But just kind of keeping in mind that if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, we're dealing with descending energies right now. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you're going to be feeling those spring energies, those ascending energies. So it's going to be a little different for you. But that said, I think most of my viewers are going to be in the Northern Hemisphere, and I'm really going to be kind of speaking mostly from that point of view. Okay, so again, we're looking at the rhythm of the year, and we're working with the law of rhythm right here, the cycles of the year, but we're also working with this grander ascension cycle. Okay, so but we had to kind of keep in mind that when we're dealing with larger cycles and then smaller cycles, you're going to be looking at the effects of both. And so the annual cycle is going to be influencing the ascension cycle that we're all in. So looking at the energies of autumn, we're looking at the energies of drawing down and within. So it's a retreating. So in the natural world, we're going to be seeing, hi, Rosio, how are you? In the natural world, we are going to see this as falling, like the falling leaves, falling apart, dying. There's a lot of animals and plants that are just annual creatures, and they actually die, or if they're perennial, a lot of them will die back in some way. So falling apart, dying, rotting is this whole part of the whole cycle of life. Reducing down to the bones, and literally, if we look at trees, they kind of reduce down the basic structure. This restricting, the drawing within, also economizing, right? Because if we're in autumn, we're going to be looking at the a harsher season ahead, and we see this, of course, in the natural cycle. Sometimes it's a dry season or a cold season. So letting go of anything that's excess, not wanting to expend extra energy, but we're also looking at the energies of harvest, of drawing in and putting away, storing up, and creating safe space. Okay, so this all kind of boils down to, this is October will be a really great time for inner work. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, this beautiful time to kind of retreat and kind of cultivate that still point, inner awareness. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you're going to be looking more at kind of marshaling your energies for maybe a burst of energy, maybe a burst of creative projects. But again, right now, and especially I'm really speaking to the fire souls here, right? And these are the people who, like star seeds, those awakened people who really know that you're here on the planet for a reason, that you're here not just for a reason, but specifically we're here to actually build the structures of the new earth, right? And so this is a really interesting juncture for us, because as natural builders, right, we've got all this energy for creating, but that's kind of counter to the existing cycle right now of the year or the greater ascension, right? Because we've hi Laura, we've got this bifurcation happening, right? We all know this, that we've got the matrix that's dissolving right now in front of our eyes. And then we're here to kind of build these parallel structures that will become the foundation of the new society, the new earth, whatever we want to call it. So as builders and architects of the new creation, we also have to work with the cycle. And So this can be a really, really intensely beautiful time for us, because it's sort of like the close of this whole last summer. We got a whole lot of light codes in. So this is a wonderful time to actually sit and assimilate and begin to really integrate those energies that we pulled in. And remember, when we have a lot of light coming in, it tends to shake things up, and it tends to catalyze a release of anything that doesn't, it doesn't support those energies. So if you are feeling maybe a little tired, maybe maybe you're getting a cold or something that's physically showing kind of like, okay, it's time to just step back, go into stillness a little bit, rest, rejuvenate, allow your body to just kind of recover from all these energies that have been coming in over the last few months. And I'm told this is the season of the Phoenix. Of course, the Phoenix has this whole cycle, right? But this is the returning to ashes, or preparing for the returning to ashes time. Okay. And of course, we need to return to that in order to come back up, right? And rise up from the flames. All right, so when I ask my guides, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of, what my guidance told me, what my spirit guides told me about this time, and then I'll close with a spirit animal reading to support these energies. Okay, so they said to cultivate the still point. Great time for a life review. And they said shedding and incubation both. So they go into that in a little bit. They say envelop yourself in deep love and take stock. Okay, so it's like life review. Sometimes it's really easy to like kind of beat up on ourselves. It's like, I didn't do this and I didn't do that, or I did that and I feel bad about it, whatever. But they're saying envelop yourself in deep love. And then just really take stock. This is a time that we're being required to come more and more into truth, more and more into self-honesty, honesty about what's going on within ourselves, what's going on in the outer world. There is a lot of illusion and a lot of twisting of truth, and just kind of separating little bits of truth off so that it's really hard to see what's really going on. So this is a really great time to step back and observe. Step into that observer role. Okay, so here's a message from the guides. Where is your heart calling you? What fears are resisting this soul path? Where there's awareness of fear, there's healing in progress, or at least the potential for healing. Get down to the bones, strip down to the bones, to the fundamentals. What are the parameters of your world? Define and measure. While the universe is infinite and you are infinite, your ability to manifest depends in large part on your willingness to focus, refine, and select the most appropriate building blocks of energy to work with, and to create an appropriate space to work with them. Okay, so this is like figuring out what's going to work for you, what's not, and how do I make the space that's going to really support me, going forward. All right, continuing here. As you move forward here in October, pay close attention to the vibratory state of your environment and the people and beings around you, as well as the frequency of your relationship to them. Okay, this goes along with, I've been kind of really delving into the 12 spiritual laws. The law of vibration is that everything vibrates, and the law of relativity. So everything you've got to understand things always in context of what's around them. So be the observer in this. They say detach yourself from preconceived ideas or emotional attachments and observe impartially. Getting to the observer. What needs to be stripped away? What needs to be incubated? What feels good or light or joyful in the flow, and what doesn't, and choose your responses accordingly. Okay, so they're really saying, let's strip down to what's really important. And so while I shuffle here in preparation for the spirit animal reading, I just want to invite you all. I have a course coming up that is starting this Saturday. I know it's really short notice, but if you didn't get to see my webinar on the 12 spiritual laws, and that's a standalone webinar, so you'll get a lot out of that. It's not just a sales thing, but I do talk about this course that I'll be offering again on the 12 spiritual laws. It's a masterclass series that will go through each of the 12 laws. And so if you're interested in that, watch the previous video that I posted yesterday, and or actually go into the description of that. You'll find a link to watch the full webinar that'll give you all the information you need if you're called to really dig into basics, into fundamentals, and some of those fundamentals are these, universal laws. And John, thank you. He watched these and was blown away. The 12 spiritual laws, the universal laws, will blow you away. They're amazing. And when you start applying them to your life, and that's the purpose of this course that I'll be offering, is applying it to your life. I'm restricting it to 12 participants. I've got 7 people lined up, so there's a few spots left. If it calls to you, go check that out. And without further ado, let's go into the spirit animal reading. I'm going to choose this one, and the card is bison. And I love this. I always feel like bison is a very grounding animal. And it's also, I love this in terms of getting down to the bones. And what it reminds me of is this story of white buffalo calf woman who came down with instructions for her people, right? And she came down, and she was seen first by 2 scouts, 2 warriors, right? Who saw this beautiful thing coming down, this light coming down in the distance, and they saw that it was this woman, and one of them, they realized it was a holy woman, right, that came down, and one of them was like, very, very reverential. And then the other one kind of wanted to take advantage of this woman, right? And so what happened was the one who was respectful, I think he just covered his eyes or something, but the other one got eaten up in flames. He got pulled down to the bones, right? And so the respectful man was able to go back to his people and tell them that this woman would be coming and to have them prepare, right, to receive her teachings. But this kind of speaks to this whole energy of getting down to the bones. And it's a destructive energy, but it's really in preparation for building something anew. So we are seeing this in the greater unfolding. This is also related to the energies of Kali Ma, right? The Hindu goddess of destruction. We're seeing this big time in the greater world. The thing about Kali energy is that Kali is there to just clear the way, clear out anything that is, no longer supporting of life. But the thing is, she can kind of go overboard and get so caught up in the destruction that she will just take it down, like reduce everything to destruction, right? So the counteracting force to Kali Ma, when she gets in this mode of like just bloodthirsty destruction, the counteracting force is Shiva. Shiva's the only one that can stand in her way and stop her, right? And the way he does this is not by trying to fight, but by lying down, and she ends up dancing on Shiva. And finally, she realizes what she's doing. She's dancing on Shiva. She's stepping on him. And when she realizes that, she just kind of comes out of it. But the thing, I think what it is talking, not that Shiva is being a doormat, he's not, but he's holding that space, he's holding that calm, and he's just sort of like being this calm strength and this knowing of who he is, and he does hold that fundamental energy, right? Shiva's the one that sits in meditation, and he just kind of dreams the world. Now, when he opens his third eye, he too has this destructive energy, right? So he's able to just kind of clear things away. And so we are being asked to work with these energies, which are like super, super intense and powerful, right? And we also are all these archetypes that come our way, they're part of us, right? They're reflected in us. We embody them. So looking within, and during this month, if you can set aside some time to just kind of feel into where are the energies within you that are reflective, or where are the energies in the outer collective that are reflective of these energies, reflective of the death and destruction that are happening. Sometimes that can be a positive thing, right? So within us, they're asking us to look and see what actually needs to be stripped away, right? But then we also have to hold that space, hold the strength, and to me right now, that's being called forward as an understanding of the fundamentals, the fundamental laws, and those are going to provide the structure, the framework, the bones of the new society, the new earth that we're working with. So it's super, super important to understand those. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this little energy update. Again, if you are interested in that 12 spiritual laws, I will try to actually put that link into the description below when this is over, so that you can watch that whole webinar and decide whether that, joining the masterclass is something that you want to do. Other than that, thank you so much for your presence, for your support, for watching, and I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful October, and remember, you were born to be free.